Welcome to Movies That Whip. I'm Adrielle, and I'm here as always with my buddy, Gooey Fame. How are you?
I'm good. I'm better now.
Yeah, me too.
You know I was not good, but now I'm good.
I know. I was cranking today. I just woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Everything immediately was pissing me off. So
just one of those days. Yeah,
it really was just one of in my old age. I'm like, yeah, totally. It's just one of those days where everything fucking gets your goat. But yes, we're already I'm in much better straits now that I'm here. And we get to talk about two awesome albums and a movie that I love very much. But first, we have some updates. Goo.
Update.
You want to get in there?
Yeah, news hour.
Yeah, it's our news hour.
So this is essentially the final episode of Movies That Whip.
Dun, dun,
That's fair to say, right?
Yes.
Okay. But it's not the end of us podcasting together. And in fact, we're pretty much going to be doing the exact same thing we're already doing. But we've evolved and we've changed over the years. We've tried out different things. And we have decided we want to kind of have even more of a focus on the show. And so while Movies That Whip is ending, we are going to relaunch a new sort of podcast under the Patreon banner of Flashback 64.
Very exciting.
As the Flashback 64 expansion pack, which is essentially like the expansion pack allows us to on Flashback 64, which is me and my wife's chronological Nintendo 64 podcast, me and McKenna, we're talking about the N64 era, and we kind of wanted to keep doing what you and I were doing, talking about movies and albums and Star Trek and pop culture from the time, but specifically pointed at that era of like the late 90s and then eventually early 2000s. And yeah, we're going to do it. I'm saying under the Patreon banner. I'm viewing it as like a lot of episodes will probably make their way to just the free Flashback feed. But there will be it'll be sort of like timed exclusives, you know what I mean? And some might be back there. So you might have to go subscribe for that over in the Millennium Star tier on patreon.com/flashback64. And yeah, this is sort of a plug now, I guess. I'm sorry.
Plug it.
But
I'll plug it.
It's the $5 tier, and you'll have this show. And also McKenna and I do regular episodes where we put rating scores on some of the N64 games we talk about. We talk about what we've been up to. We're starting to incorporate too. We've been bringing back old features where we were putting. Right now, we were doing the number one singles from the time. We were like doing a pick one and going through the number one singles. We're talking about doing that with the number one movies as well, because McKenna and I are trying to watch all these movies. So
cool.
That show is called the Transfer Pack. And this is the expansion pack. So it's sort of a companion to that. Oh. And we have other cool shows coming to that. I think I can announce it at this point. By the time this comes out, it will have been revealed. But we have another show coming to that called Flashback 8, which is where McKenna and I do weekly mini reviews of 8-bit Nintendo games. We're starting with the NES, going through that and the Game Boy library. They're like 8 minutes or more. So probably like 8 to 15 minute reviews every week. So you get that weekly, you'll get this monthly, you get the transfer pack once or twice a month. So a lot of good shows over there. And Yeah, and I think it's going to be good for us because we're kind of doing what we have been doing best, but we kind of get to take on a new sort of like project with it, which I think will be fun.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even realize how much it dovetails nicely with the transfer pack, which is like,
Yeah.
it's so, I really like how embedded, how almost like method acting you both are within the time period of Flashback 64. It's so fun. And so it's sort of inspiring to me. So I really love it. And yeah, I'm happy to be a part of it. Now, can you tell me, as someone who is less informed about the technological differences between a transfer pack and an expansion pack? You don't have to get into it, but just, do you have a quick 60-second overview of what those are?
The transfer pack was that device that you could put Game Boy cartridges in. They used for like I don't remember what is. Very few games used it. The only one I can think of is Pokemon Stadium to play your Pokemon on. So it was sort of metaphorically like it's like how you can take your Pokemon from the game and put it into the other game. A lot of what we're talking about on Transfer Pack is like we're taking the games we talk about on the show and we're putting like our little review scores on them. We're taking the albums and movies from the flashback segment and saying like, these are our favorites. So it's like it's really more meant to be like supplemental to the show. Like if you like the show, because our podcasts are more guest oriented, like we usually let the guests kind of speak more on the game. At least I like to think we do. So this is like, if you want to hear us go more in depth, like kind of give our, like we give our kind of like final thoughts on the games and give a little score to them. And
that's cool.
We also put the score. We also felt like we don't want the score to be a big feature of the actual episode because they're kind of more for fun and not that serious. So it's like, we trust that the people on the Patreon are the real ones who understand like, hey, this is just our like little fun thing. It's not that big of a deal. It's not what the show is about. But it's just a fun way to make our little top favorite list of games and stuff. So
yeah, cute. And the expansion pack is a bigger memory, right? Isn't that what it needed for? Is that right?
A couple of the later games.
Majora's Mask, right?
Majora's Mask, Donkey Kong 64. There were some where it's like you could play the game, but you couldn't do everything. Like Perfect Dark had that. Like you needed to actually play the whole game, but you could do some stuff without it. So so we're kind of adding a little bit extra value, like getting
extra
to
juice.
Like I said, go in depth more with that time period. We've kind of discussed for our albums, and movies in particular are still going to be the big focus, as well as the Trek logs. That it's going to be like movies from the 90s going up to wherever we are at in our Nintendo 64 timeline is all kind of fair game.
Yeah.
We also discussed, as we move, that kind of unlocks more movies.
Yeah.
In fact, our very first episode is going to tie in with where we're kind of at. We're a little past it now on the show, but our very first episode is going to be on the 1998 Godzilla.
Such a good
movie.
A good start. Good kickoff for this one.
And that one McKenna will be on as a big Godzilla head. So that'll also be a thing. A lot of times it'll be us, but also McKenna will join us from time to time. Much like the Trek logs where we all get together. And I think we always have fun as a trio.
It's a lot of fun potting with, at least personally, I love potting with McKenna. She's a lot of fun.
And so we also said like we can go earlier or later in the timeline if it's something relevant, like maybe a prolific 90s director, like maybe looking at one of their 80s movies or something more like more modern. Like if we hadn't already talked about like Avatar, I feel like looking at James Cameron's later work makes sense. Or if it's a movie that's like maybe a dramatization about something like a historical event or something for the timeline, or even a documentary like we're talking about today, that's from a little bit later, is all fair game as well. So
it's a good time to transition, especially with this movie, which is all about endings and beginnings and transitions and the end of an era. And then we also have 2 albums today that are also from 1997. So it's a nice little dovetail into the new stuff. And in many ways, it's sort of a return to form. I mean, we like started out because we like love 80s, 90s movies that sometimes don't get their fair shake. So it does feel like it's good for us to focus a little, but also it feels like a return to form, which is really nice.
I like specializing. It's fun a little bit.
Yeah. And then you can get deeper instead of broader, which is fun.
Yeah. So we'll put this on the, probably the main flashback feed as well, just to like this pitch, just to encourage people to go check it out. And we'll probably even, bump the mic there. We'll probably even I assume Godzilla will probably make it to the main feed right away as well. So yeah, we're going to be playing a little bit more fast and loose with the exclusivity of these. But yeah, it also just allows us a big thing on the show on Flashback is we've been doing, instead of one episode a month where we talk about 1 or 2 N64 games, we're just doing 2 a month where it's only one game we're talking about. And it's left us a little less time to do some of these like movie side quests. We still do them, but it gives us a little less real estate. So this is kind of like just an excuse for us to kind of keep watching and talking about them. And yeah, it's great. We've got you involved, and it's a perfect blend, I feel like.
I know. I'm happy to be involved in the even more directly than with the Trek logs in the Flashback ecosystem. It's really fun. It's really fun over there. So it's cool to be even more directly involved in an expansion pack, So yeah, this is exciting stuff.
Yeah, great to have you in the Flashback ecosystem.
In the family. We're all in the family. Okay, so without further ado, we have 2 albums that ripped. Albums that ripped. Yeah. They ripped and whipped. We'll talk about mine first because I have it right here on CD that I found downstairs and in my apartment building. Somebody left a bunch of amazing CDs down there, and this one. Now, I'm not necessarily. This is a very cigarette themed album.
This is a real smokers album.
It's a real cigarette album, specifically. And then also, just of course, Katie Lang looking hot as hell in lots of suits. I mean, come on now, crazy.
Yeah. So like drag, and then a third layer to it. They're all cover songs.
And also, there's an element also, I will say, of like, not like it's a drag, but they're all very like emotional, sort of, not all of them, but they feel very like thematically kind of like I don't know, slow, maybe not slow, and but drag feels like the right word. Like there's like something that's like pulling down in a lot of the songs, And
they're kind of, not only are they're covers, but they're kind of reaching out to different sort of genres and kind of make it's very cohesive sounding, but it is pulling different genres. So it's not even just like, it's like we're taking on like multiple different identities, which I think is kind of cool. So
it is cool. Yeah, this was a sweet album. I had no idea what it was, and I didn't even really know Katie Lang other than like that.
Yeah, I was looking, I was like, oh, this is like her whatever 7th album or something like that. I was like,
so much music,
she goes like way further back than I knew.
Yeah, and I had knew she was like a lesbian icon, of course, like in like the 90s, and there was that image of her and Madonna, and she's like either like they're like in a barber shop, something is going, I've totally forgot what the exact context is, but her and Madonna and she's like it's like lesbian chic 90s thing going on.
Yes, yeah.
And but her music wasn't ever something that was super recognizable to me, or that I couldn't just like really think about it off the top of my head. And I had recently watched the Pee Wee Herman Christmas special, and she is on that. And she really understood the assignment, like almost more than anyone else was really into the Pee Wee Herman of it all. Understood,
Okay, yeah.
the RuPaul of it all. Let's just say that. So I didn't have a lot of history with Katie Lang other than I just knew what she looked like, basically. But this was amazing, and I really was like, wow, she's so, I don't know, it just wasn't what I was expecting from her. And I was expecting more folk or something, but this was like, I'm not sure like really how this stands out compared to her other albums. I listened to a little like a best of Katie Lang kind of like playlist after this. So it's maybe this is more of like a departure for her, but this was a really special album. So I'm glad that it came to me in the form of a CD that someone gave away.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering that too. I was like, I know who Katie Lang is, but I was like, do I know? There's a lot of like songs from the 90s that I don't actually know who performed them. But then when you tell me, it's like, oh, that's who that person is. And I feel like Katie Lang was maybe that type of artist for me, like someone I never really listened to, but I'm like, I guess I learned there was more like of a country sort of backstory to Katie Lang than I knew. But yeah, I thought it was I thought it was really good. Thematically, like, yeah, really strong. I was thinking like this has got to be one of the more interesting covers albums I've ever listened to, I think.
Yeah.
Like just how it doesn't just feel like, oh, I'm doing all, because even the song choices themselves were kind of like interesting. I wouldn't say they were like deep cuts, but it wasn't just like covering fan favorites or any things like that. I guess maybe like the Joker might be the most mainstream.
Right. The rest of them, that was, I will say that when I was listening to it, it wasn't until we got to the Joker where I was like, wait a minute, are these covers? Like I didn't quite put it together yet. I was like, is this one cover? Yeah. And then that's when it clicked for me.
I realized that at the second song, because that's the song that the bridge to Creep from Radiohead rips off, that like main vocal melody.
Sure.
And then the first song I thought was her song from Tomorrow Never Dies, the James Bond movie that came out that year, but it wasn't. It just sounded like a James Bond song.
You admit, all of these kind of sound like James Bond when she's singing them, but because you were like, she sang she was a Bond theme song person, which I had no idea about.
Yeah, she actually did the song that the composer for the movie wrote for the opening title, and they're like, no, we need who did it? Sheryl Crow ended up doing it, and they made the Katie Lang song the end credits. And it was like, oh, come on. They're dirty.
Yeah, Sheryl Crow is another, not a lesbian, but a lesbian, 90s lesbian, like people liked that.
I love Sheryl.
Of course, Melissa Etheridge, obviously, but
yeah.
But Sheryl Crow is another big one that
love her.
Really loved.
I'm more familiar with Sheryl Crow for sure.
Me too. They're totally different. Like I can't quite. Yeah, they seem not comparable. Other than at the time period, they were kind of a good double feature.
But yeah, the album does sound like I like the fact that there's like some country, like a Bond ass song. Like there's some R&B. It all works because they all they're all about smoking or something like that, and they all do sound like they're being performed in like a smoky room where she might be dressed up in this dapper suit, drink swirling type music. Yeah, one of the best cover albums for sure. I can think of other cool ones as well, but this has got to be up there for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked it, and she's Canadian, which I know is not terribly relevant here, but I like.
It's
always
cool though.
It is cool, and I like that she sort of from a small town in Canada, and it like that is sort of her country roots, sort of. Like I think that she's just like a, I don't know. It seems like she has a very varied like musical style and what she's interested in, and sort of touches on these different things. And I don't know. I just want to shout out that she's from like a small town in Canada, which is pretty cool. Well, I love that for her.
Yeah. I loved it. You kind of swayed me when you picked a 97 album. I actually went out hunting for both these on CDs. I didn't look very hard, but I didn't get them.
This one and the Drag, as well as the next one.
Yeah, I was looking for them, and there's just I didn't have the time to dedicate at the places I went. It was the CDs were a mess. So
sure, as they often are. That's just sort of the way it is now.
But I picked a 1997 album as well. Also an album that's like deep, not as deep, but deep into the band's discography. But Blur's self-titled album.
I loved it. I was like not necessarily like a Blur specific fan. I hadn't listened to like a lot of Blur intentionally. It really fits this like midwinter kind of vibe. I mean, I guess it could also be kind of a summery album depending, but it has that kind of like melancholy feeling. I think also that like that Gorillaz self-title kind of does in a way. I loved this album, and actually today you had sent me like, here's maybe how I would reorder the songs, and I true to form, I like your I like your idea.
I didn't even reorder them. I just cut like it's one of those albums where
I guess you cut the fat out a little bit.
A little, yeah. There's some interesting stuff going on in there that feels like Gorillaz-y, where it's like more instrumental type experimental stuff. But I kind of get why. I mean, obviously there's a ton of stuff that didn't even go on the album. Like that happens a lot. So it's not like, I don't think there's like necessarily them trying to pad it with filler, but I feel like my preferred album for a band like this, it obviously depends. Like there's some bands I love that have these crazy expansive albums, but for like a lot of rock alternative bands, I think more because I've been into like punk and stuff. Like I usually prefer brevity and stuff like that. So like listening to this, I get why it's like a 14-track album, like both from like a creative and an economic perspective. You know, CDs were, you know, it was like people want to get their money's worth. So there's sort of a thing there. But I also felt like, yeah, there's like this, instead of a 14-track album, I was like, there's like 10 like top tier tracks in this. And like then a couple that aren't, you know,
and you
I just
didn't
took
reorder them at all, eh? Wow.
No, I actually kind of like another thing that I feel like this stuck out to me more. Maybe it's because it's I noticed a lot of albums do this where it's like all the 4 singles from the album are in the first 5 tracks. Like there's only one of the first 5 tracks that wasn't a single, and it's very like front loaded, I would say.
Yeah,
but
that's
then
true.
But then like in the second half, and that's another thing I understand why people do it. I think they think we'll put our best foot forward, and a lot of people are going to buy this and they're going to put it on and they're going to want to hear the best songs, like, and not skip around. I feel like that's what happens. Whereas, and then it's like, but then in the back half, there's stuff, if people really want to dig into it, they can. I don't necessarily think it's viewed as like, oh, then we put all the bad songs later. But yeah, there were still some songs in the second half that I was like, this could be cut. And then there were deep cuts that were like, this is actually really cool. So yeah, I don't know. I've never been a big Blur fan, despite like really liking. I got into Gorillaz when I was like a little kid, you know, and
a little kid,
because they were a cartoon band. I thought it was cool, and I knew Blur because of the song 2 on this album. But like, I have listened to all their albums at some point, but I've never, and they have some songs I really love, but I never was like, oh, I'm going to put this album on or whatever. But
right.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you if you have another Blur album that you like next? Because I was like, well, I feel like I should dive in, like get in there more, but then there's a bunch of them. So
Yeah.
I guess I could just start poking around. But
So everything before this is super more, it's like more in the Brit pop category, which I feel like
okay.
I just, maybe I've just never really loved that or something, but they kind of lost by this point. They had sort of lost the battle with Oasis. And this they intentionally were trying to kind of change up their sound, and a lot of the greatness of the album can be attributed to their guitar player Graham Coxon, who was like heavily inspired by like American indie rock, like Pavement and stuff like that. So more dirtier or less like prim and proper pop music, which is more of what was Blur's thing until then. And so yeah, they kind of went with that, and I think that made the album a lot more interesting. Also, if you read about it, they'll talk about another thing I don't like as much about some Blur songs and some solo Damon Albarn songs is like he's more writing like songs about characters and things like that. And this album, they talk about how this was like more him writing personally about like himself and like what he was going through. And I feel like that shines through. And
I was going to say it does. Yeah, it feels that way for sure.
Yeah. And he was like dealing with, you know, like drug addiction is a thing that comes up a lot. And so I feel like it's like what I like about this album is not that it sounds like American, though that seemed to be like controversy. Some people said was like, oh, it's them kind of like, this was what their real, like in America got them over here. But like, I feel like it's more that it just sounds more like gritty, real than some of their, not that they're even their older albums have good songs and stuff. But I feel like from here and later, I find more songs on this album on that I kind of dig into. And it sounds pretty British, I feel like, too.
I was going to say, to me, this is pretty British, but maybe that's just in retrospect. Like, maybe that's just also like part of the nostalgia of the whole thing, and like knowing, I don't know, maybe that's part of my like retroactive like perception of it. It's totally possible, but to me, it seems pretty British.
That song "Look Inside America," it sounds very British, but I also kind of like that it's like, it's sort of like, yeah, it's got some, it's sort of like thematic with that whole story about the album of them kind of like looking at America and like being like, oh, they've got some nice bits about their culture. What they say, like
they've got some nice bits about their culture.
There's a line in there. Hold on, let me find it. Where they say it's sort of like, it's still melancholy, but it's a bit more. The song's about the relationship with the United States. Looking for America with its kooky nights and its suicide, where the TV says it's all right because everybody's hung up on something or other. And so I like that. It's sort of like they look at America. It's like, oh, this is like interesting, fun place that also like is like kind of a dark place, you know?
Yeah, no shit. Interesting also, like, because like at the time when it, you know, came out, right? It's like, because this was when things seemed like they were going pretty good in the United States. I mean, you know, maybe
our
again,
hubris was at max peak.
Right, exactly. Maximum, like, we're doing great, you know, like I don't know, like this is again nostalgia, guys, right? Everyone thinks about like back when I was a kid, whatever, but like it is I think very true that in the 90s everyone thought shit is going really good.
Maybe
no
this is
problem.
This is so much easier now in hindsight, but to me it feels like such a like false thing. Like, even, you know, like it just feels like such a facade. I feel like that I got that feeling a lot in the movie we watched as well.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we can also sort of transition to that, but it's the same thing of like, we're kind of like this like false sense, like things are going fine, but we can like really tell that this is a tenuous sense of calm that we've got going on here.
Do you know the Flimsy Steve post about gorillas?
I don't think I do.
Let me see.
Enlighten me.
Where is it? Okay. So it's someone, this is from years ago, someone making fun of Gorillaz lyrics, and it really makes fun of the thing I don't like about some of Damon Albarn's writing. I feel like you get away with it more in Gorillaz because it is like characters they're performing.
Sure.
But anyway, this person posted this from back in the day on Twitter. Guest rapper on a Gorillaz song. I've been in the end since 10, kicking product round the bend. My mum died of tuberculosis. I'm slipping into psychosis. Damon Albarn on the chorus. Oh, Flimsy Steve, where did you go? What have you seen? Flimsy Steve. And that is kind of like what I feel like he does sometimes. Like he has some song called like, you know, some solo song called like Mr. So I don't remember what it was, but it's like overly, it's just like, it's something like corny about it or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a lot of,
but I love him for some reason.
I know,
but he makes so much.
I still like allow it. It just feels good to listen to, even though, like, I don't know. I feel like maybe a more charitable way of thinking about it is kind of like this. I feel like there's this constant kind of like almost depressive glossing over of things that happens in Gorillaz stuff as well. Like they dig into stuff, but it always is under this kind of like Xanax facade a little bit.
Sometimes that is a bit much, but a lot of times it's cool.
But that is, I mean, that's, I think kind of this just reminds me of that. It's a through line of like getting right up to the thing, but not actually like, you know, feeling it all the way.
This song does have what he considers the first Gorillaz song, even though it's
which one?
Song.
Which song is that?
It's one of the singles, On Your Own. Do you remember that one? It's the
interesting.
So take me home, don't leave me alone.
Interesting that's
psycho
feels
killer,
like that's the first one.
Gorilla.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I think it's just because there's like electronic drums in it, maybe is like the beat instead. So it's a bit of a stretch, but if it was a Gorillaz song, it wouldn't stick out too. They have a couple songs over the years where it's like this. If they wanted, this could have been a Gorillaz song. I wonder what the process is there, but anyway, they have a new album also, which is awesome. I love the new Gorillaz album.
Yeah, the new Gorillaz album is so good. I'm really enjoying it as well. So this was another nice like dovetail with this album too. So I loved that. Cool. I'm glad that you assigned this one for me. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
What do you have next? Because I have an album that I have picked. I think so. But what have you got?
Okay. Well, so for mine, I was trying to. It's sort of tied into Godzilla, but not really, but sort of. Which is. So I got to thinking that I was.
While I have you here,
there's this is not what I'm picking, but there's a lot of memorable songs for me. Tie-in songs with the Godzilla movie, like the soundtrack, you know, like it's kind of an iconic soundtrack to me, even though like one of the song is a collaboration between two now famous sex pests in Puff Daddy and Jimmy Page. So, but anyway, there's some iconic tracks on there, like Green Day Brain Stew Godzilla remix where they add Godzilla noises to the song.
Oh shit.
But that album was beat out on the charts. It was number 2 to the debut album of DMX, which is It's Dark and Hell is Hot. And I was like, this is actually a perfect, like, this is a monster album to go along with a monster movie. So I was trying to be a little thematic there.
Sweet.
Like DMX is now in play in the flashback timeline. So I was like, let's talk about DMX.
Hell yeah. It's Dark and Hell is Hot.
Yeah, it was just a hard ass
That's
album.
so sick.
I was already I was watching stuff from the time and I was like, fuck, this is so scary. It's awesome.
Dude, hell yeah. Okay, well, I was picking an album from 1998 as well, and I was like, well, let's think here. So, I've been really not trying to. I like lots of like L7 and Garbage, but I'm doing a lot of research for my like some stories that I'm writing and some like other various and sundry things. And my protagonist really loves Kurt Cobain. And then there's this sort of this like a little thing about anyway, but Courtney Love, I never have gotten into Hole ever, but I decided that I think that this is a time that I want to try to all sign it to myself selfishly. But the album I'm choosing is Celebrity Skin. That also came out in 1998. And I've never really gotten into it. So,
this album, I haven't listened to it in a while, but is this the album? There was a whole album I listened to a ton. It's got to be this album. I remember it's banging. I'll say that.
Okay, sweet. Yeah. Okay, sweet. I wasn't sure based on that reaction if you were like, this is terrible or it's good.
No, I was just trying to I was like, is this the one? If I'm wrong, I'll apologize, but I'm pretty, I mean, obviously that single track is awesome. So this is perfect. Yeah, this is perfect.
I think it would be a good mix. Cause I mean, I was like, let's pick an album from 98, but there's like, there were a couple, I mean, there's a lot of really like bangers that I like remember and have listened to. And like, there's like, I mean, probably the number one album of 98 is Massive Attack's Mezzanine, which I listen to all the time. I love a big Massive Attack fan.
Oh yeah.
Probably doesn't surprise you, big time Massive Attack girl. But also I think, like there's an Elliott Smith album that came out, Neutral Milk Hotel. I mean, there's like a lot of them. So yeah, but yeah, Celebrity Skin, that's my pick. We're
opening ourselves up to a lot by focusing on this era. So
yeah, no shit. It's exciting. I also love oh my God, the Air album Moon Safari. That's another one that I really love, but it's not like terribly like, I don't know, it'd be that interesting to talk about, but I do like it a lot. Okay, sweet. Awesome.
Yeah,
These are great picks.
This is going to be great. Yeah.
We're setting ourselves up for success here. So, but the movie that we're talking about today, which is, it's right along the same track as this, big part of it takes place in 1999, actually, but the movie is a documentary. The documentary came out in 2009 or 2008, but it is called We Live in Public. And it is about this .com kid named Josh Harris, who makes a shit ton of money in the .com boom in the mid 90s. And he kind of fancies himself an artist, and he engages in various forms of performance art with his own life and relationships on the line, and also a big giant social experiment in an underground bunker in New York City in December of 1999, which is pretty crazy. And he's also just a total fucking freak asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, Goo was watching it, and then you texted me and you're like, I think I hate this guy. And I'm like, good. Yeah, that's you should hate him.
I think so. I was sort of watching and I was like, I think the documentary thinks he's like a genius. Kind of.
I think yeah.
Or like not a genius, but like, oh, he's kind of like I think they kind of buy into his artist. Like, I don't know. I was reading it. Maybe it's sort of eye of the beholder thing. I was reading like Roger Ebert's review of this, and he was like, this man is a prophet. And I'm like, or he has a prophetic vision of where we are now. And I'm like,
right.
There's definitely stuff you can draw from this. I'm not denying that, but I feel like I don't necessarily think this guy is a genius. I think he was just someone with the wealth
Yep.
who could do all this crazy stuff that we all have access to now to do to ourselves earlier because he could afford it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
yeah,
I know.
wow.
I think I think the only thing that is, it's not even prophetic, but that I think that he like he was like, this is, it's not prophetic, but I would, the thing that I find the most interesting, there's a lot of things about him that are
There's a lot of
interesting
things. Yeah.
But that he is like, this is bad. This is not good. Like he, you know, we all, I mean, I don't know, because I was a kid in the 90s, but people understood that like the internet, what was coming down the pike, right? Like we understood that there was this like anyone can be famous, hyper surveillance, all of this stuff. And I think that he had just such a dystopian sense about it that he again had like the money and the like whatever his drive to just like implode his own life.
Yeah.
That he just like deeply doesn't care, like deep ennui, that he like allowed it to happen in a way that provides some entertainment for us because it's all been documented. Yeah.
He had the privilege to be able to exploit himself in ways that we could only do 10 to 15 years later. So he was a pioneer in personal exploitation, which sure, guy, like, you know, he kind of reminded me of it. He was a somewhat more relatable and well-adjusted, like, especially with this fucking clown character he's doing. But dude, he reminded me of Elon a little bit, where it's like,
whoa, I didn't even think about that.
But instead of like epic smart science guy, like I feel like he had the money and he convinced himself he was like, I'm a deep artist. And I feel like that clown thing especially just showed that like he like that wasn't good. That wasn't good. And I feel like
none of it's good.
They kind of lessened the fact that they were like, nobody liked this. But I was like, I'm watching it. I'm like, of course they wanted to get this fucking guy out of here. Like he's like, he reminded me of Elon because it seemed like while it was probably not a good business venture, like that internet show network thing was kind of cool. And then he was like, and I'm going to put my fucking hideous clown thing on there. Like that's totally worth like the same as like someone doing like a cool hip hop show or like genuinely like interesting things. And he's like, okay, he got whatever booted out or he left or who knows what really happened. Then he's like, I'm going to fund some other shit show. So, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting to think of him as to compare him to Elon, because to me, at least he's like, I mean, the reason that he is entertaining to watch and he's interesting at all is because he had no influence really. You know, he was in this like weird kind of New York City 90s art scene that he only had access to because he had money, right? And like he wasn't an artist. He thought he wanted to be.
He was inspired by fucking Gilligan's Island, which
he was obsessed with fucking Gilligan's Island in a crazy way. He was obsessed with it where he like, I mean, I guess we don't know, right? Because the documentary, by virtue of it being a documentary, is just, we're only seeing what the documentarian decides, but they put a lot of weight and he talks extensively about Gilligan's Island as if it is something like really groundbreaking to him when it's clearly just like some sort of hang up that he has about his own mother.
He had a lot of hang ups for sure. Oh, that's another way you remind me of Elon, was like, okay, weird disjointed parental relationship mixed with extreme wealth. Though he does have moments in it where you're like, well, there you can actually kind of see a bit more humanity in him. But yeah.
I mean, I feel like, okay, so I wanted to like, I got really, the first time I saw this documentary was like maybe like shortly after it came out. My friend Conler, shout out to Conler.
Shout out.
Another weird name like me. Adriel and Conler. Like somebody made
what a
those names up.
duo, yeah.
I know. Just like a couple letters off of like regular names. He showed it to me. He's a big film guy. And I was at the time getting like really into like Dr. Faustus, which I still like love Dr. Faustus, whatever. And I was like, really, when I was like starting to recognize like the internet is like a Faustian contract, you know what I mean? Like we've like made this deal with the devil, but we could like get out of it anytime if we would just like stop being so stupid, you know? So then I like watched this and I was like, I was like, this is a Faustian character, and I'm going to tell you because this is not like Faustus is not a guy that is like a hero. He's a regular guy who thinks he's really smart, and he thinks that he's like outwitted fucking everybody, and so he is like, you know, I'm the best at all this stuff, and so like all that's left is for me to like make this deal with the devil because like everything else in my life is totally on track and boring, which feels very much like what this guy is doing. Is he's just like, well. Like I don't care if I like fuck up everyone else's life. Like if I just throw more money at these like ill-fated ideas, then I can like sort of see what happens. And like I don't really care if it all like totally explodes in my fucking face. And he's so deeply fucking stupid. Sorry, Josh Harris, if you're listening. But like I did a lot of like research on him because I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like, did he do anything else? And the answer is like, not really.
I couldn't
like,
really find anything.
Yeah, he did. He did like one like TED talk, and there's like this weird kind of follow-up mini not documentary, but like a 20-minute thing. And he's like, the last thing we know about him is that he's living in Las Vegas, like in a hotel or in a motel, and is like trying to like do some sort of other art thing, but like surprising no one, he like lost all his money. And so he's like, what's left if you don't have money when all of your creativity stems from the fact that you can just like infiltrate spaces with other creative people or with creative people and draw people near you to use as like human collateral in your art pieces. So yeah, I find him like in equal measure like fascinating and like entirely predictable and boring.
I saw like he's also like a singularity type guy. Like that was something I think I might have just glanced at on Wikipedia. Like that was, he had pitched to, what was it? What's his name? Not Jared. What's this guy?
Jared.
What's this character's name?
Harris. One of the guys with a bunch of money. This guy, Josh Harris.
Josh Harris,
the main guy. Yeah.
He had wanted to. Where was it? He made a pitch to run the MIT Media Lab promoting technological singularity.
Jesus.
I don't know what the deal is with that, but people who are like singularity people, or like it's something that happens a lot when we talk about these things. And I'm not smart, so don't take my word for it. But like when we talk about like the tech and surveillance and what we give up and blah 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 blah, like I feel like it often is treated like the singularity, like inevitability, like that it's just something that the technology, it's the same thing with AI, like it's going to come around. Right. And even people there are people who even don't like it, but they believe it's inevitable and it's more of like a doomer thing. But I feel like it's like accepting that they're like, even shouldn't be a world where like the problem with like our phones and like the internet and social media, like isn't that it's just like, well, it's just going to happen. And like the only, and it's just the only way we can ever not be affected by it is to just like completely abscond for it. Like that's away from it. I mean, like we should just not use this technology. Or there's people who are like, it's inevitable, so we should embrace it or whatever. But I feel like the issue is more of like, I feel like it's something that all this technology can be great and it can be awesome. Like we've gotten tastes of it, especially early on, like closer to this era of like all these great things that it can do. But we like as a society, not like as on an individual basis, like allow the shots to be called by the tech companies. You know what I mean? Like I feel like something like Facebook, something like it should exist, but but it would be way less bad for you if it was something that the public had say in how it was run. Like if it was, or if it was something like, I legit think like there should be like a Facebook, but it's like treated more like the post office or the library or something, you know, like,
yeah, if we had put Facebook as the library, that'd be great.
like just something where it's like a internet where you can have a community thing that's
kind of a public forum type place, sort of. I don't know.
Now, obviously this is in a, you know, obviously there's all these security issues that come with that, like something run by the government. Like there would have to be ways to like make it secure for people. And I obviously don't trust our current situation, our current government with that. But I feel like that's in like an actual vision where like the people have overcome all these billionaires and tech companies and AI bros and all that stuff. Like a lot of these things would just be nationalized and like provide a service to people, like help you keep in touch with your family and you know, your community and stuff. So I feel like it's less what the problem with, it's not this documentary, it's the subject and like the way people, like all the people reviewing it going like, oh, he's a prophet and stuff, is like, it's like, yeah, it's not just a new thing that is going to exist no matter what. And
yeah, it's the inevitability sort of the whole thing, right? That it's cast as being like, he saw what was coming when like, I mean, I don't know. It's weird because you like in retrospect, I guess we can say that, right? But at the time he was just like another fucking rich dude who in the same, it's like, it reminds me a bit of like the AI dudes now that are just like, it's coming and like we have to like upload our consciousness and like it's a deeply like nihilistic sensibility, right? This thing that's like it's just going to happen, like we have to like let this thing overrun us and like come what may, we have to be in service of this particular like ideology or whatever. I mean, they treat it like it's some sort of spiritual calling. And I think that like it reminds me a little bit of that because he just was sort of like, this is it. It's going to be evil and awful. And like everyone's going to want their 15 minutes of fame, but they're going to want it every single day. And like that feels sort of quaint now because like he was, I mean, I don't know if he's right about that, but like that is what happened. And he was certainly not the only one saying it, you know?
That's true too. But I think that's also because it's like, I think people want that, not be like they treat that as like, because it's, and maybe there is some truth to that in a lot of personalities. Like there are people who just want attention and it's for no other reason than they want attention. But a lot of people, it's cause it's like, yeah, like, their fucking lives are shitty. And like, this is a way where you can, for some people it might just be like present my best, what they think is their best self. Or in a lot of people's cases, like, yeah, maybe I can have that 15 minutes and maybe it'll, you know, maybe I can hawk Tua and make some money off of it and not be, but I think that all comes from like more of like just people's like life situation. And it's not because the technology made them do it, you know, it's because their life fucking sucks for X, Y, and Z and they're looking for an outlet, you know?
Right. And it's just, I mean, it's the same logic, I guess, for like things like Facebook and stuff, right? It's like, yeah, it's because it's not the technology that's like doing it. It's like, because we live under capitalism, like extractive capitalism and all, I know various and sundry other forces, of course, but like, that's one's like, yeah, that's why it exists. It's not because as much as I'm like, I hate my fucking phone and I don't want to use it, but I am like, well, It's not the phone's fault, I guess.
Oh yeah. There is there is on a personal level. It's like it's there, and I have it, and I use it in a bad habit way as well. I'm like not denying that, but I feel like it's like it's not inherent to what it is. It's more of the process by which it's made, and like we have to engage with it, I guess.
Totally.
And in a world where we've overcome the billionaires or whatever, like we could actually decide. I remember this was
Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah, I remember I was talking to someone way back when like Mark Zuckerberg had to testify before Congress for something, or I can't remember which thing it was, but I was talking to someone and I was saying like, yeah, this is like really messed up. And they were saying like, well, how, like, whatever it was, like the type of moderation or like whatever issues he was having, it's like, it's just so big. Sorry, I got a train going by. I'm just going to power through.
I can't hear it.
Oh, well.
Oh, I heard that one. Yeah. I heard that one.
Oh, it's going to be on the recording. Wow.
I liked it.
Okay, what was it? So it like we were talking about like, oh, like this type of like moderation or whatever, like that it would require. It's just not like feasible for them to do that and still like operate like the way they do as a company. It's like, okay, well maybe like, does that mean they just get to decide?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, however, I'll call the shots.
Maybe they shouldn't be a fucking company then. Yeah.
Like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't have all of these things, and we should decide what we actually like should get with our experience on like our public spaces online. And because that's essentially what it is for a lot of people. Like the only reason I ever had one after a while was to stay in touch with my family, stuff like that.
So in this documentary, it's sort of 3 acts, I guess. The first act is the introduction. The second act is really him doing this big party that ends like on December 31st or on January 1st, 2000.
I think he should have gone to jail. I actually think he should have gone to jail.
I was just going to say, I feel like he should have been in at least in jail for this, but he wasn't, because he was also sort of like fully torturing people down. I mean, psychological torture. Everybody, you could live down there for free.
There's like a bunker and they built.
Right. And then a bunch of people, like a weird artist that he had met through his money and access and whatever, and who had worked at his previous like business venture, whatever. And they all went down there and they could just live down there for free, quote unquote. But everything was recorded. And so you could flip through the channels in your own little pod to like see what other people were doing. And then but like, it wasn't just that, because if it was just that, then everyone probably would have had a nice time with it. But he was like stirring the pot in this like crazy way, trying to like turn people against each other and like adding guns to the mix. And then there was this weird like doomsday cult aspect to it, like all of which.
Yeah, they were like psychologically like abusing people, essentially.
Yes.
They had to get interrogated or whatever, which was very culty. Yeah. All
for the sake of just content, I guess you could say. Which is part of why I'm like, well, and I don't know if they say this in the documentary, but it's like, it's so clear that he's not, I mean, whatever the value of art, whatever, but he's not really an artist, because he's just doing it. He doesn't really have a point to anything.
That was the most right? Like, it reminded me of like, this was what I think is like the dark side of like the late 90s, like, or sort of that like that hubris era where it's like it feels like people's viewed as like, and a lot of people did at the time take such a positive view, like we're coming up on a new century and we have all this technology. But I think there is also just a lot of people who are sort of like, there's just sort of this like weird nihilism or something about society where it's like this big project that It was even just confusing in the documentary. Like at first they're talking about, and maybe like that's the point or something, but like people were like, oh, is this big cool party? And then it's like, but actually there was all these fucking guns, and actually there was maybe a child there. Was there an actual
Yes.
like
I don't know if there was
that's
a kid there. That's
if that
fucked
kid
up.
was really there, like that guy should for sure be in fucking jail. Like
Yeah,
for
no
sure.
shit. And plus it's all on film, so I don't know. Clearly they didn't care to subpoena him or whatever, but they did get raided by the police because somebody told them, they're like, there's this Millennium Doomsday cult on freaking Broadway,
Which it kind of was.
Which it was. Like, yes, they should have raided them, and then they like pulled everyone out, you know, in the early hours of, you know, the millennium, and they were like, yeah, you can't be down here with a bunch of firearms which are already illegal in New York City. Like, you can't have all this shit. And they were like, you know,
I guess
some people were probably like, thank God I got out of here, because I don't think they could really leave. Like, that was the other question, was like, could they leave? Could they not leave?
There was that's what caused it. Was like there was some argument they actually wouldn't let a guy in or something. I don't.
Right.
I felt like
everybody was drunk and fucked up the whole time too, so it was hard to tell.
That's where I was like, yeah, like I guess like the overall point there are things you can draw from it, which is like the thing overall is a big pointless shit show that ultimately I think the only thing it like really shows it shows his point about people wanting like 15 minutes or whatever and like to have like attention, but I think what it does is it shows that about him more than anything. That he like, and it what it says more than anything is like, yeah, you in miniature are like representing to me like how these horrible companies are exploiting people. But then he gets to be like, but that was my point, to show you how I exploited all these people. And I'm like, okay, well, fuck you. Like,
yeah,
you suck.
That's the artist like facade of it all, right? It's you're like, it's weird to see somebody be like, but that was the point, as opposed to like making money off of it, right? Because to me, it's like it would be so much like, people do this all the time, but the point is they're like, but they're making money off it, and that is the excuse, right? It's like, I can exploit people. That's the way that the system is built. Like, I'm trying to make a buck, right? But he like, it's not about the money. It's about him. I don't know what it's about, but he's able to hide behind it being like an art project. Like, it's a fucking art project that you're like taking all these people and putting them in a bunker where people definitely were in danger. I don't know.
I think, yeah, for sure. For him, it's like, I think he just, I mean, clearly he has some psychological issues.
Yeah, well,
and
no
shit. The money only, it like inflamed that and made him feel like I am a genius, because how else could I have all this money? Other than, as like a lot of the tech people were talking, they were talking about, you know, how much money they made just because they could do, like, granted at the time probably more difficult things, but they were like, this is actually really fucking easy, and like, yeah, we just happened to be the ones to know how to know what it is, turn on your computer or whatever. And it's like, okay, well, yeah, you're kind of admitting there that you were more first than you were like a genius.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, and the like, I mean, him outfitting, because he had, I don't know if he was renting or owned this fucking loft in Soho, which was down the street from the weird party or whatever, but then him and his girlfriend they just put cameras all over their own house, and he was like, let's just see like what it's like to do this.
This was a bit more compelling of an idea to me, because it's like, obviously she was involved and like bad, like he was a shithead towards her, but it was like, I'm doing this to myself. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, right. Yeah, because that ended up kind of being the message to me about the first experiment, but it didn't really make any sense. Whereas like, yeah, this felt like, okay, you're doing what you're kind of a pioneer in like live streaming and oversharing. Great. That's cool, I guess. I guess so.
I mean, it sort of is, but I guess it is I wouldn't call it pioneering. I mean, maybe. I don't know. It just is. It's like all. It's also easy to be. It reminds me so much of this fucking AI shit. I guess now that I haven't watched this in the past couple of years, so like I guess it reminds me of this because it's the people who are just like talking about it as if it's an inevitability, and in the same breath having this like total doomsday view of it, right? Like I think that the people who are, and the people that I interface with and I know through fucking work or whatever, like they know, or they have a very acute sense that like this is not like a good thing, but that it is an inevitable thing, which like is not true. It's so obviously not true. And so like talking about him, like is he being like a pioneer of it? Like not really. Like he just is like seeing like this like social experiment that he clearly like is just using this like nice lady who he's duped into dating him.
She was
and
so
he's like
sweet, I thought.
Using her as collateral. Now I know I loved at the sort of the reveal at the end of the documentary, they like zoom out on her and she's like, I'm pregnant and I'm a yoga teacher now.
Yeah.
10 years later, she's like totally
she was
completely normal and happy.
She was an absolute babe too.
Yes.
He totally,
just an angel. I mean, come on. She was like, obviously like so way too good for him. And cause he's just sort of like, he's an asshole and has no riz whatsoever. And I think she found him sort of compelling and sad.
What do you think his end game is? Because I think a lot of the reason the AI people who are at least who are facilitating it, I know like there's a lot of people who just like, I know just random people who just think it's inevitability and they have nothing to gain from it. They think it's bad, but the people on top, like Sam Altman or whatever, are clearly doing the thing of like, this shit is scary and that's why you need to give me all the money so I can create the good AI instead of the bad AI. Because if you give someone else the money, they're going to make the bad AI, but it's going to happen either way. So you got to give me money.
Right.
Do you think I do actually kind of think like he thought that like his early success with that streaming service, that, or whatever you want to call it, the TV channel, which honestly was, other than the fact that it didn't really make money, it was kind of cool.
It's kind of sick. Yeah, I liked that thing.
But I kind of think he thought like, if I keep like how he had success there, like if I keep doing these things, I can eventually sell this and, sell the concept and like, that's my next venture. And then if I fail, he's got the backup of like, well, this is a big art project. And,
I don't know if he's ever like, so either he just has really bad ideas that he thinks are going to make him money, or he doesn't, not that he doesn't care about money, but that he's like, he really believes that he's like an artist and he's like really that much of like a self-involved narcissist maniac. And I feel like that's more of what is going on, not to like armchair analyze him, but like, he's not like, if he wanted to be making money, he had plenty of opportunities with like the people he surrounded himself with. Like, the other stuff, he just, I don't even know. Like, I don't think it's that he didn't care about money. I think he just like was mentally like on another fucking planet with like what he was using his shit for. And I think that he really thought and probably still thinks that he is a real prophet,
I mean, like, yeah, in a lot of ways it's one of those cases, this happens a lot where it's like, there was a lot of things he came up with that we do now. And he was, it was sort of like, well, you're too early to where you could actually do anything with it that is actually practical, like, right. Especially like, I like that those web shows were cool. Even if they were low quality, sweet, I was like, that's neat. I don't know. Watching them at the time might not have been that good, but
I wish I could see it. I wish I could get those archives now because they probably have really interesting stuff on it.
But that was a lot of, I think, what made those cool, it seemed like, was the individual people and not really him. Like I said, his clown shit sucked. But I will also say, in 1998, the movie The Truman Show came out, and he did say he was influenced by that. So like his big idea is really just like he saw a movie and was like, that could happen and it's going to happen. And I'm just going to. So like his big idea isn't like an original idea, I don't think.
No shit. And it's also based on Gilligan's Island and like not, I guess, I mean, it may be a little more obliquely, but like it is like quite literally based on the Truman Show. I mean, in a slightly different formulation, of course, and less compelling, but compelling only by virtue of that it's like happening and like it's actually happening to somebody, and the point, as opposed to being Jim Carrey.
And the point of the Truman Show wasn't that the Truman Show was cool and good, and it feels like that thing now, where like a lot of tech people are like, we've got this new thing and it's named after some like evil sci-fi thing. And it's like, well, we don't want this. This sucks. And then they go, well, he was a genius because people didn't appreciate how prophetic he was for creating a thing that sucked.
Sucked. And now we can make it suck, but at scale and in a way that can make us money. Yeah. I mean, it's always like, this particular one, like the older I get, and like, of course, the way that like things change in the world and whatever, like, because I'm now in my 30s and like watching this, and like I live in New York, and I'm like seeing like younger rich people who are like just like him, right? Like when I first saw this movie, I was in college and I was like, this is crazy. Oh my God, that's so not cool. I was like, this is obviously dark and horrible, but there's something kind of interesting about it, like somewhat appealing in some way. And now I find it like so grotesque because I feel like I'm like, this could be any one of you fuckers who just like thinks that you can like make art and and you fucking like, and you just suck ass so fucking bad, even though you're like making way more money than me and anyone I know, So I feel like I have a particular ire for this now. And there's also like this strange, like even the documentary itself, like is like culpable because it talks about like, not only does it talk about him as being kind of a prophet, but it also is like the people in the documentary are like, well, New York isn't what it used to be, which is like everybody fucking says that. And it's like, yeah, well, nothing is what it used to be. Like, because also like 9/11 happened right after that. So like, like everything totally changed. And so I always find it really, annoying at best when people are like, well, back when it used to be like this. It's like, oh, like those were the days you really missed out, when like that, like we're going to be saying that about now, probably. Well, maybe not now. This shit sucks now, but like even when shit sucks, like people look back on it and they're like, well, that was like, it was good for these reasons, So the documentary itself, like with time, like it begins to like, it doesn't become less interesting, but it does. It becomes grosser and more grotesque, and I become more sour on it.
It also doesn't have a good. It's not their fault, I don't think, but it doesn't have a good like end point. Like right. There's no like satisfying conclusion.
Right. He's like, I'm going to go live on an apple farm or whatever. Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's it. I have one other thought in regards to how I feel like there could still be maybe not trying to make money as the influence, but like where I feel like he is partially motivated by the idea of like, I'm creating maybe like I'm not just doing something to show how dark the future is, but I'm also trying to like create some new cutting edge form of entertainment, which is that what year did he start doing the like I'm streaming my apartment thing? Do you remember? It was like
maybe 2000. I don't know.
So it was
I'm not sure actually.
At that point, he still had his money. And one thing I loved in this documentary was they reveal like when the market collapses, like he was doing this experiment where people could watch him 24/7 a day, like as he was on the phone, like losing all of his money.
Yeah, that was pretty sweet. I did like seeing that.
I think his main motivator probably still was like whatever trauma he has with like his mom, and then just becoming a super wealthy person, like those two things mix. But I think like, so he had his success. He did the shitty clown thing, but like he was able to get out of there with the bag mostly intact, with preserving his sort of like facade as like a creative innovator. He does this cult thing, but it doesn't like, it gets shut down in a way that I feel like you could chalk it up to like, well, it wasn't a bad idea. It's just there were external factors, like the police raided us, you know, but like I might have made a point. So now I've still got the bag. I still, my reputation somewhat intact. So like now I'm going to launch, like I think when he launched this stream from home thing, it was not just, I mean, it obviously said it was a social experiment, but I also think like it could also be viewed as like, hey, this is this is like the next, like my other TV show thing, like this is a new type of which she's partially right. Like I feel like a lot of people do just stream hanging out and talking at their house, not to the extent where it's like you can see them shitting and fucking or whatever, but a lot of people share a lot of their lives. And I guess there are people who share videos of them shitting and fucking, but this was more, you know, is a bit more of like a, hey, like have fun. He invented the show Big Brother, essentially. He invented like good reality TV, or interesting at least. And so I think at that point, I do think there is a part of him that feels like I'm like creative and I've been rewarded for it, and this is going to be like another like cool innovative thing for me. And I guess it was in some ways, but in a lot of ways it's like, well, you're just again the first person to humiliate themselves, and it made it all the more humiliating that he had to take calls where they're telling him
he's losing his money.
Yeah. So
yeah, and that his like actual girlfriend was like his partner or whatever was like leaving him in front of, you know,
and he was being a massive fucking dickhead to her.
Yeah, and that everybody, I mean, that, at least according to the documentary, that there weren't that many people watching him at any given time.
When he said
but
that
people
like,
were all like, "Oh, like fuck you, man!" Like online, everyone was like, "Yeah, you're a piece of shit," and like you should leave him.
Like, but because even when they started that, they were like, at least the way she talks about it, I don't know what was in his mind, but I imagine they probably both were like, we thought it'd be cool to show like a real life people, and like, look at, these are two people who are like in love, and you kind of get to partake in their lives with them, and there's like parasocial thing. So like, you know, when that starts, it's not the same. I don't think they had the same mission statement as they claimed of like, this is going to show how we give away our, you know.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Because like this one, it feels like he's sort of like playing with fire, but not he wasn't instigating it in the same way that he was with the big party or whatever, the bunker. Like this was like, it is true that at the beginning, like it seemed really,
they didn't have a guy, they were
kind of optimistic,
torturing them psychologically. Like he ended up doing that in some ways.
He ended up doing it without it. He didn't need anyone to be hired to do it. He did it himself. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see that, like, it's kind of like watching the first episodes, the first couple seasons of The Real World, where like they're kind of like boring and maybe not sad, but they're like, we hadn't been kind of like media trained like that we all kind of are because of just the way that we interact with the internet and whatever. Like we hadn't been kind of inherently media trained to look really good on camera. Like those early episodes or early seasons of The Real World, people are kind of like fumbling around and being kind of boring. I mean, people are still fumbling around and being boring, but in a different way now. Whereas like now, you know, it's like everything is like you're either trying to show the best version of yourself and you have like learned how to like sort of do that and kind of edit your way into that, or to set yourself up for that if you're like a streamer or whatever, or you're like, this is a total shit show and you're like trying to capitalize on that too. So yeah, it was sort of weird to watch it like organically devolve into madness a little bit, you know.
Yeah, and I guess I'm fully aware, like, that I'm saying this as someone who kind of does do this stuff. Like I stream with my wife, I podcast with my wife, and or even just this, like you and I talking or whatever.
Yeah.
Like there's some element to like, yeah, like this is something we probably couldn't have done before, but I feel like that's just always been a thing. Like it's the same thing with it's a different conversation, and there's again various levels of veracity to it, but it's like the attention span thing. Like McKenna and I have been watching, The Simpsons, and there's so many jokes at and jabs at TV and how it kills attention span and stuff like that. And it's funny, like that's just moved to our phones, and great, like, yeah, there's some truth to it, but a lot of it is just like that. It's like we as a society allow this to be done because of the monetary incentives, and not just because it's like people just are. I mean, again, people should practice good habits. I'm not trying to like make excuses for that, but we put it so much more on just like these inevitable things that that it's just human nature, and like, if you're smart, you'll be able to just avoid it. But it's like not everyone has that ability, I guess.
Right.
It's like fast food. Like some people have to eat it because it's what's near them and what's cheap, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's not our fault that we like. Yeah, it's like, would I love to like shop and eat and be like live ethically, but like there is really no way to do that under like hyper capitalism and like all this shit. It's like you can't really. It's not the consumer's fault that like we're given just like option A, which is a piece of shit, and option B, which is a bigger piece of shit.
Maybe we should just not let them exploit. Anyway, yeah,
no shit. There's a book that I know I've talked about because I find it interesting in the same way that I have like a preoccupation with these kinds of things. But this book is 4 arguments for the elimination of television, and it's from 1975 or something. And it's like this guy talking about he used to be in marketing, and then he's like television is like so bad. It's not about attention, but it's more about like everybody thinking that they're getting the same story when they're all getting not different stories, but they're just siloed, and like what that like sort of means, that it's like you're not actually like civically engaged. You can like feel like you are, and you can feel like you've been there, but you haven't. And it's different. It's a totally different thing, because this is like what this documentary is involved with is surveillance and like being watched and being public, living your life in public. But this is particularly about like, and it's sort of interesting because it's not just about like, oh yeah, like everyone's dumb and watching TV and whatever. It's more like, because he's from a marketing standpoint and from like a storytelling perspective, he's like, it's not really the same to think that like we have access to this stuff. Like we don't actually have access to any of it. We're just getting images of it, and it's not the same thing. So I don't know, it's interesting stuff. I like hearing what these people thought was going to happen, and sometimes they're right, and it doesn't mean they're a prophet, and sometimes they're totally dead wrong, and that is also interesting. Like, you were afraid of the wrong fucking thing. You had no idea what was coming down the pike.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you watching this movie with me, because I wanted to slip in one documentary that whips under the radar, right under the gun. Is that the phrase? Right under the wire. I'm sorry, that's right under the wire.
Under the wire. Yeah. Yeah, I guess we hadn't done a documentary before, right?
But no, I think we've hit pretty much every genre now, except documentary. And so this was the last one to do it. And it's one last little Easter egg. Justin, one of my dear friends, about 10 years ago, was like dating this guy, and turns out that this guy was Josh Harris's nephew. And he's like, yeah, he's a fucking piece of shit. My whole family hates him.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about like that weird thing with his mom that I feel like they kind of like they bookended the movie, And I feel like that's the best they could do, because like, yeah, there's not a satisfying ending really. So they had this thing about how he is really weird towards his family.
Yeah, they had his brothers throughout the movie that were just kind of like, yep, he was a fucking weirdo. And
one of them was more understanding, I felt like, than the other.
But yeah, one of them pitied him a little bit, and the other one was like, fuck this guy. I don't know who was the father of the person that my friend was dating, but I don't remember what his last name is, or what I don't remember his first name is, but he was he was his nephew. So that was a weird little Easter egg, and I was like, he was like, you should talk to him. Like, about what? Just to say that I've seen this documentary. Like, that doesn't,
he's a real freak, huh? Yeah.
Yeah. I will say that the family did like the documentary, because they were like, see, he's a fucking weird loser. And so apparently because he was like, that movie was that we think that they did a good job because they didn't make him look very good.
I feel like we can make the good internet. I feel like there are so many things that were so magical to me as like a kid, going on the computer, even at just the library at school, like going on Wikipedia when I was in middle school, when it like first came about, and just like reading articles about stuff, and like that access to information. Like, it was fun. Like, we'd have classes where they'd teach you how to search for things online, and like the computer and the internet can be a great place. It's why we're friends, you and I.
Yeah, I know. I think about that all the time. I'm like, I got my online friends, and they're like my real friends.
It's a big thing right now too, with age verification stuff and like protecting kids. And there's a lot of people are like, we should just ban all social media for kids. And I'm more of in the like, I know it's a tricky thing, and I know like we don't have any reasonable way to do it right. Like, we need to take control back before we can really do this stuff. But like, obviously I think there should be more regulate. I think we should regulate like children and phones a little bit more, but I also think we should create like the cool internet for kids, like a space where they can like have access to all this cool stuff that's like safer and things like that, instead of just like, I feel like there's like an actual solution that's not considered possible.
Yeah. God, it would just be nice if we had functional like public type or third spaces, right?
Yeah.
Like, like malls and shit,
Yeah, but real life as well too. Like, yeah.
Well, that too, right? But on the internet and stuff, it's like
kids want to hang out, in the real world. But
I guess that's kind of what Discord is, right? Discord is kind of that like third space, but there's in many ways.
There should be a lot of platforms too. There's like Fortnite and like Roblox, but I think there's like weird exploitative things to those. So I think it would be cool if there were like, we put some resources into creating like healthy environments for kids to like chill and be kids and just have fun and not be bothered.
There's a game on Switch called Hypnospace Outlaw.
Yeah. I know that game.
I dig that game a lot, and it reminds me of when we're just talking about the like, oh man, if it would be cool to have like a space for people or for kids, or just like some sort of a third space. And it's about, I should replay it, but it's about like sort of about dreams. Like, you go there when you're sleeping, and like you have to kind of, and you are the person who's like kind of, you're solving mysteries sort of like through people's websites, and it's all very like kind of MySpace, Zynga, early website stuff, which is really cool. And it's not, there's a dark kind of element to it too, but I really like that game because it's fun and cool, and it also has like some like kind of sketchy dark elements, but it's mostly somewhat, I don't know, optimistic, and it sort of like shows this different like, hey, it could have been like this. It could have been like this. And so it's a lot of fun to play.
I feel similarly about like the arts, like I think it would be good to, as a society, fund like creating art for adults and children that is like useful and entertaining, but also good for you, like public.
Yeah.
But we should as a society, like fund things that could potentially be those healthier things to show to your kid for entertainment or go online or food and
give people money to make stuff.
Yeah.
Give people money and time to make things would be really great. Well, I'm excited for our first foray into the Flashback 64 expansion pack era.
Yeah, I'm pumped for Godzilla.
I'm really excited about this. I'm pumped for Godzilla. I'm pumped for It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Bunch of fucking sick
you know what? That
title.
Sounds like it's kind of a good bookend for what we're talking about. It's Dark and Hell is Hot. And Celebrity Skin, too.
Yeah. Well, that's been one thing that's fun, is to see what was all kind of on everyone's mind at the time and tap into that.
Yeah.
So, we were just, we just did a reading of a game manual on our friend Nick McConnell's stream, where we read the manual for this game, Biofreaks. And there's stuff in, they're just slipping everything that was like a buzz of the time into it. Like they're talking about, corporate espionage and techno-industrial civil war, and then they're also talking about like foreign influence on politicians and cloning, and it's like, so it's
cloning.
Yeah, I
forgot about cloning. Remember when cloning was a big thing?
Yeah.
We were all trying to clone ourselves.
and that's another thing. We're reading it, and we're kind of joking, but we're like, oh, the people who wrote this were prophets, because there's all this like government and business stuff going on in it.
Yeah. Has it? It's not been ported to other things.
Unfortunately, not, but it rocks.
I was gonna say
we'll play it sometime. I've got it. So
fuck yeah.
It's really only fun to play with other people. It's a bad fighting game, so it's only fun to play. See. But it has fun mechanics that aren't really good, but they're fun and like a riot. So anyway, check out Biofreaks.
Is there a Godzilla N64 game? I'm sure we'll talk about
There's Godzilla video games. I don't think there's an N64 Godzilla, unfortunately. But there was a lot of...
What the hell?
We'll talk about it, but there's there was a Godzilla cartoon like based on the movie, and so there'll be, and obviously Godzilla the album. So there'll be some supplementary material for sure.
Sick. I'm just sad that there isn't one on N64. Come on, what the hell? I know. What a missed opportunity. Everybody would have gone for that one. Come on. Okay, well, Goo, thank you as always.
Thank you.
We will see you in Flashback 64 expansion pack.
See you over there. Stay cool.
Stay cool.